Disagreement isn't the problem. Dehumanizing is. If we want a culture worth living in, we have to fight ideas without torching people. Today, we'll dive into practical tools to argue well, whether that's online or in person, and how to handle when the temperature spikes. I'm Jesse, and this is Renegade Noble. Here, we talk about mindset, training, and building a life that you're proud of. The world is loud. The algorithms want you angry. We're going to do something harder and braver. We're going to disagree without dehumanizing. Not because it's soft, but because it's disciplined. The core rule is simple. Strong spine, soft voice. I hear you. What's that even mean? We need to possess a strong spine. Essentially, you just don't fold on your values. But we also need to manage a soft voice. We don't want to reduce a person to their worst sentence. You can be exacting without being cruel. And that's the line. Let's talk about 4 moves that we can make to handle what we'll call civil combat. Move 1. Pause. Breathe. Verify. Then respond. So pause. Count 1 full breath before you speak or post. Breathe. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Verify. What are they claiming exactly? Check the source, the date. Check the full context. And then respond, but only if you can add something to the conversation, not heat. The one-liner could be something along the lines of, give me just a moment. I want to make sure that I understand exactly what you're saying. So move 2, the steel man, then state. Before we go any further, let's make sure that we actually explain what a steel man argument is. That way everybody is on the same page. A steel man argument is essentially the act of rephrasing someone else's position in the strongest possible way you can think of. This demonstrates that you fairly thoroughly understand their position before attempting to refute it. This does mean that you should accurately try to represent the other person's viewpoint with the best evidence and reasoning that you can think of, even if you disagree with it. This is the first step to even trying to engage in a more productive and potentially even persuasive dialogue. This is the exact opposite of a straw man argument, which is designed to misrepresent a position to make it easier to refute or attack. So, make the steel man argument, then state your view and have your receipts ready. Here's an example script. You're saying X and Y because of, let's just say, reason A. And you're worrying about outcome A. Here's where I agree. A is a problem. Where I part ways, though, is that reason B exists. And because of this stuff, citing your sources here, I just can't. If you can't steel man, you're not ready to argue. Move 3, the ask scale boundary. Ask the other person, what would change your mind? What am I missing? Scale. If it's a huge argument, if it's too big, narrow it down. Say, hey, let's take one claim at a time and set boundaries. No slurs, no threats, no personal attacks. We keep this an adult conversation or I'm out. Move 4, receipts over rhetoric. This is essentially just less noise, more evidence. Link the study, show the law, post the full clip, not the edited version. Provide the information that informs your opinion or view. You could always say something like, hey, I brought receipts, show me yours. There's actually a parallel here from the mats. Control before submission. See, in jiu-jitsu, we don't thrash around wildly. We aim to control. You settle your base, you find grips or you build frames, you apply pressure, and then you move. It's the same here. Control yourself first. Breathe. Control your tone. Set the tempo. Then try to move the conversation into a controlled narrative. If you're just swinging wildly, you're losing. Here are some example scripts that you might even want to use or adapt in real life. When someone states something that you think is false, you can always say something like, "I hear your concern, and I think it's fair to raise. Before we argue, can we check the source and date on that? Tell you what, I'll do a quick search and pull up what I find, you can pull up yours, we can compare." Let's say a friend posts something reckless. You can always say something like, "Hey, I care about you, I care about this cause. That post sounds bad, and it's going to read as an attack on X. Might even be used against us." A stronger way to say it would be something along the lines of this. You want to tweak it? When someone gets personal and starts attacking, say, "Hey, I'm here for the issue, not insults. If we keep it on the argument, I'm happy to keep going. But if not, I'm out." When you misread someone else, "Hey, look, my bad. I reacted to the headline or I reacted to this statement. I didn't really catch your point. Here's my real take on what you actually said." And if the room is spiraling and you just want to see if there's any chance of maintaining some level of control, you can always try saying something like, "Hey, let's take one claim, let's write the best version of it that we both agree is accurate, and then let's debate that, or just part ways." There's also this concept of the ladder of conflict that's a good reference for these types of conversations, and just know which rung that you're on. You start with curiosity. "Hey, I want to understand." And then clarity. "Okay, give me clean claims, give me good sources." And then if you disagree, contest the ideas. Let's test them against each other. And if it starts to go high wire, containment. Set boundaries when it starts to slip. But be prepared to cut it off. If something becomes abusive or pointless, exit. Don't jump from 1 to 5 in one move, though. Climb the ladder, or at least attempt to. Here's a quick anti-dehumanization checklist that you can keep in mind during these conversations. Hey, did I attack a person's worth instead of their argument? Did I assign motives that there's no way I can know? The statements like, "You just want blah, blah, blah." Did I use labels to avoid listening and just generalize something? Did I generalize from one person to their entire group or to some other entire group that shares that same label? And if you say yes to any of those, reset. That means that you've moved into attacking and not having a meaningful conversation. So I hear the complaint, but what if they're just awful? And let's face it, some takes are absolute garbage. Some behavior just crosses lines. You can still keep your standard. Name the behavior. Name it precisely. Know your sources of information and protect yourself and others with firm boundaries. You could even use this as an example response. "Hey, that crosses the line for me. That's an attempt to dehumanize. I'm out." Make sure you do have repair skills, though, for when you cross the line, because at some point, you'll blow it. All of us do. Just be prepared to repair quickly. You can use 2 tools, the XYZ repair, where you say, "Hey, I said X, I learned Y, I'm going to do Z." Or you could use just a basic apology, following this formula. "Hey, I'm sorry for X. That impacted you by this reason. Here's what I'm going to change." And you can use both in conjunction with each other. But then move forward. Don't make it performative. Practice real improvement. Here are 2 just kind of quick little workflows to give you an example. One being text or online, one being face-to-face. So here's a quick text flow. Draft a response. Wait 2 minutes, then cut 1 adjective and add 1 source. Then post. Okay. If it still gets out of control, move to a private message. Try using the ask scale boundary script, but be prepared to just cut ties and move. Or in person, it might go something like, "Hey, help me understand your best 3 reasons for what you're saying." Listen to them, even repeat it back in a way that summarizes that you understand. And then say, "Hey, here are my 2 strongest counters and reasons why I don't agree. What would change your mind? I'll tell you, this is what might change mine." And if the heat rises, say, "Hey, let's pause. We can pick this back up tomorrow." And finally, there's one other activity that you can do regularly that actually will help immensely when these types of disagreements come up. And that is to regularly perform what we'll call the decency flex or praise across the aisle. Find one good point from someone that you generally would oppose or disagree with, and say so publicly. Don't be performative. It's not a both sides argument. It's not anything where you're doing anything beyond just modeling fairness. This buys trust with people who are watching, who take note. It helps keep you and your own brain honest by objectively looking at some different views to see if you agree or disagree. Disagreeing well is a daily practice. Hey, if any of this resonates with you, or if you found it useful, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be kind, be clear, be accountable, be brave, be useful, be renegade noble.